Welcome to the France 24 Observers. This show is based on our network of observers. They're ordinary people who tell us what's going on where they are and send in photos and videos to document it. We check everything here in Paris and bring the best to you. We begin today in Uganda, where the parliament is considering a law raising the penalties for being gay, imposing life in prison for homosexual acts. Uganda is already a pretty homophobic place. Even talking about being gay can get you in trouble. A British theatre producer called David Cecil is facing a possible 2 years in prison for daring to put on a play about homosexuality. Our observer played the lead role.
Basically, the character that I play is Thomson Mukulu. And Thomson Mukulu, much as he's a businessman, a very young man who has ambitions and aspirations, but he has one thing that the community will not accept. And that makes him different from the rest of the people. And that is, he is a gay person. Now, they killed him because he is gay. It is true, actually, that the homosexuals in Uganda live in fear. So they keep their privacy for the fear that they will be murdered or denied by their own families or burned away, banished from their tribes or banished from their locality. The activities of the artists in Uganda rejected our proposal to put this play at the National Theatre. So when it rejected that, we had to get a private space to put this play. And then later that week, David, producer, and the writer were coming from Kenya. They were arrested and released on bail that very day. As an artist, I always look for things that challenge me for the better. But of course, there's the other side of how will the community or how will the nation look back at me after I perform this particular or I execute this particular character of a gay man. But I realized as an artist, sometimes you have to go, you have to break the barriers of fear so that, you can educate a society, or you can impact a society, or you can drive change.
Next up, vigilante justice in Madagascar. Cattle theft has become a huge problem in the island's south. Armed gangs of rustlers attack villages for their prized zebus, the humpbacked cattle the island is known for. The attacks are violent, and that has prompted the villagers to fight back. In one weekend alone, villagers massacred 90 cattle rustlers. Our observer Sei Saisandrata went to see what happened.
The attack happened on the 31st of August. I got there the next day. I saw bodies lined up in front of the town hall. The victims were cattle thieves. They'd come to the village to steal the zebus, but they ended up getting killed themselves by the villagers. The villagers knew the cattle thieves were coming. They were ready. When the thieves arrived, there were about 130 of them. The villagers were hiding. They were in trees in the fields. They surrounded them. The cattle thieves had guns, but the villagers outnumbered them. They had axes, spears and rocks. There are lots of zebu thefts in the area, hundreds every year, maybe 1,000. The thieves are very well organized, and they don't hesitate to kill villagers. I'm not surprised by what the villagers did. They were acting in self-defense. If they hadn't fought back, they would have been killed themselves. The cattle thieves have no conscience. The police are investigating the massacre, but I don't think they're going to go after the villagers very hard. They know it was self-defense too.
Now for our weekly roundup of stories and images sent in by our observers. We begin at the Beni Mellal Hospital in central Morocco with a video posted by a young woman using the pseudonym Nora. The video shows the terrible conditions in which women wait to give birth. They lie on the ground as they twist and turn in labour. We asked the hospital to explain what's going on, but they haven't responded. Now to Shenzhen in southern China and some images our observer Sui found on the web. They show Chinese demonstrators angry at Japan over its claims to disputed islands in the South China Sea. Now, demonstrations like these are tolerated and even encouraged by the authorities. But what's interesting here is one of the banners. It says freedom, democracy, human rights, constitution. A pro-democracy message that has nothing to do with Japan. The police were quick to spot it and arrest the pro-democracy activists who had crashed the party. Our last stop today is Rikuzen Takata, one of the Japanese cities devastated by last year's tsunami. The city's forest of 70,000 pine trees was destroyed, all except one. The so-called miracle pine survived. but it was mortally wounded, with salt water killing its root system. Local authorities are determined to preserve the tree as a symbol, so they've cut it down and sent it to a lumberyard for preservation. It will be raised again in the city next year as a memorial to those who died. That's all for this week. As always, you can find more reports from our observers on our website, on our Facebook and Twitter pages, and on our iPhone app. See you next time, here or online.